I see them on the bottom. You guys gotta tell me what to do. I don't know how to do it. Wait, they're at the bottom. Oh, add camera? Upgrade for extra camera. Oh, just drag them? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Hi.
man, I've been dragged by Sarah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for saving us.
We're not live. Huh?
We are live, I believe.
I already hit go live.
Yeah, I think we're live. I'm pretty sure we're live. We would need somebody to.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
So, Sarah, what do you think about those Tigers?
Huh?
What do you think about those Tigers?
I think they're great. Are we live? Because I don't really want to be live.
Yeah, we're live. Yep. Yeah, we're getting comments now. They see you.
Oh,
So
hi everybody.
if you want to, you can close your window there, and we can just go to town. I don't know. Last time I was on here, though, people could barely hear me. I don't know if that's changed.
Oh. She's muted
Now
herself.
if you've muted yourself, Sarah. We can't hear you. It's all good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate people tuning in. If you're wondering why we were late, it's because we needed Sarah to rescue us. Raj is in the middle of softball. Okay, so thank you for being able to hear me. Yeah. So welcome to Motor City Metrics. We got the skeleton crew here. We've got me as Rogelio Castillo, and Raj is Rogelio Castillo's empty chair, and Yoop from Minnesota, still in the process of moving into his new place, but ready and willing to talk about baseball. And we've got some bad baseball to talk about, huh?
It's almost like we should be playing. Obviously, our technical capabilities are a little low tonight, but if we did have the ability to play Chopin, the funeral dirge, that dun 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 dun, it's been kind of an ugly week.
Well, I mean, if we go back to the last time we talked, it was Thursday, right? And that was
Yes.
The
We were
Royals
much
were in town, and the Tigers took the first two games from the Royals, and that third game was kind of fun. Even they felt like the gritty Tigers, right? They were down 6-1, and they came all the way back, and then things just kind of didn't go well from there. And we've seen a little bit of that lately, where every time the Tigers seem to pull even or even take the lead, like the pitchers give it away right away. Just one of those things. I haven't seen nearly as much, people wanting to jump off bridge feelings lately. The Tigers are on a 4-game losing streak right after a 5-game winning streak. Maybe it's because we just made it through that last, lull, and the Tigers came back playing some of their best baseball of the year. Maybe it's because these games were all late on the West Coast and people weren't a witness to how ugly they were. Or, maybe people are just getting ready for football. But, yeah, we saw, arguably the worst Tigers series of the season there in Sacramento against a talented young athletics team. But, a lot of this was self-inflicted by the Tigers.
Yeah, no question. Defensively, very poor. Throwing to the wrong base. Lots of miscues in the field. And with the way the pitching staff has been going lately, they need the defense to be far, far cleaner than what we've seen. The pitching staff just needs everything caught behind them that's catchable. And right now they're not doing that. Like even the game they lost in extra innings, boy, Vest gave up a chopper to tie the game. That was no fun. But, the worst was when Riley Green threw the ball to the wrong base. I mean, that was just brutal. And that allowed that runner to go to second. And you knew, boy, it didn't look good there. And then that kid who got the bunt down that really killed the Tigers on a 2-strike bunt. And the first 2 attempts at bunting looked like he'd never heard of the act of bunting until that night. But somehow he got it down.
Yeah, well, and that was the only out that they got. Will Vest forgot how to pitch, which is always a bummer. Yeah, I mean, we could run through these games, right? There were 3. Maybe people don't necessarily want to relive that nightmare, but we could talk about the overall feelings afterward. But yeah, so the first one was Skubal versus JT Ginn, and you had to feel good about that. And it was really a pitcher's duel for the first 6 innings or so. JT Ginn, once upon a time, was a very highly rated pitcher, coming out of high school and then out of college. Hasn't done a whole lot in the pros, but he looked pretty solid with shutting them down, and then the Tigers finally got to him. Gleyber Torres hit a solo home run, and then I think it was Winsel Perez with a 2-run double.
Yes.
And so you're like, okay, 3 runs, that's more than enough for Skubal. But then, I think it was a double and an error to start off the next inning, and that was, to begin kind of an ugly pattern. And a couple ground outs, they score 1 run, no big deal. All right, Tigers go back, they don't do anything, and you're like, okay, Skubal, 1 more inning. Immediately gives him a home run to, was it Colby Thomas?
Sounds right. Yep.
One of the lesser-known young players on the A's. And then things go completely squirrely and sideways. I think there's a double, and there's a walk or an error. Bases are loaded, nobody out. Skubal gets the 2 strikeouts, and then, flashbacks to the ALDS Grand Slam, 450 feet by Shea Langeliers, one of the biggest power hitters since the All-Star break. We were looking it up, the 3rd longest home run Skubal's ever given up, 450 feet. He gave up a 454-footer to Salvador Perez and a 454-footer to Gleyber Torres once. So that's fun. But yeah, that was, and then, the Tigers didn't do a whole lot more, and then they bring in Summers, I think, late in that game.
Yep.
And, so far, so not great for him. That was a home run to Nick Kurtz, right? They brought him in specifically to face Nick Kurtz.
Yep.
And we can talk a little bit more about Nick Kurtz in a minute, but I don't know if you have any specific thoughts about that game.
Well, when they don't have Nick Kurtz in the lineup, it kind of behooves you to win that game, especially with Skubal pitching.
Yeah.
So that was the one that really, given their track record with the A's, which shouldn't matter what's happened in the past, but obviously it does because the Tigers just keep losing. There's something like 17-42 over the last, since 2015 or something. It's just insane. To have Kurtz out of the lineup for the bulk of the night and lose that game, that one hurt. And you look at that lineup for the A's. People see them as a last place team, but really, Kurtz and Langeliers and Soderstrom and Wilson and one more guy I was skipping. I'm losing right now, but those are good players. They would get a lot of at bats for the Tigers, for instance, and a lot of other playoff teams. So in my mind, they're one of the best last place teams in baseball. They had that 1-20 stretch this year, which pretty much wrecked their year. But otherwise, they've been a pretty solid baseball club. Yeah,
they have one of the better offenses in baseball. I think some of that may be playing in the rinky-dink AAA Pacific Coast League Park,
Sure.
which we can talk about a little bit. I think that probably contributed some to the Tigers' woes, but you don't want to use that as an excuse for playing so terribly. But yeah, that the A's are going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem in the not too distant future. Mitch just mentions that. Yeah, they have Leo DeVries coming up. They got him for what's their former closer, Mason Miller. They traded to Mason Miller and got one of the top infield prospects in baseball to go along with their 2 top young infielders, and Tyler Soderstrom you mentioned, and Langeliers. That's a great young core, and they have a little bit of pitching too. Some interesting pitching coming. Gage Jump is on the way. The Morales kid who pitched on last night, Wednesday night, looked really good.
He did.
So about 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago, September 1st, 2023, I was in Lansing watching the Lugnuts play the West Michigan Whitecaps. And on the mound was Luis Morales, and pitching for the Whitecaps was Troy Melton.
Oh.
And it was a fun little matchup. They both gave up 3 runs in about 4 innings. Morales gave up a homer to Gage Workman and Isaac Pacheco, who is still with the Whitecaps. And there you go. But Morales has gotten much better since then, and so he's looking good. Jamie Arnold fell in their lap in the draft this year. So, yeah, it's. I think your overall point is right. Like, this is not necessarily a terrible team, and if you don't play well, they can really put it on you, and that's exactly what we saw. So, yeah, real bummer there in that first game. And I guess now is the point where I will break in. We're not doing our segments tonight, but I did have a sort of quasi inside the number. Yeah, Denzel Clark is fun. He was very good center fielder, and Lawrence Butler is the other guy we're probably forgetting, right?
Rooker. Michael Brooks just mentioned
Rooker.
Rooker. Yeah, that's who I couldn't think of off the top of my head there.
Yeah, but so Nick Kurtz right now, 333 at bats in his rookie season, has an OPS plus of 180, 80% better than the MLB average. If you're curious, that is the 5th best ever for a rookie with 330 at bats.
Wow.
Now, there's still a month left. Maybe that'll go down. Maybe it'll go up. But the 4 guys ahead of him, 3 played in the 1880s. And one was Roy Parnell of the 1927 Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro National League.
Jeez.
So we're talking about some of the best stuff we've seen in 80 years. If you want modern comparisons, Jose Abreu is the best in the modern era at 173. Wow. That was a few years back. Jose Abreu was a 27-year-old.
Right.
Aaron Judge was 171. Mike Trout, 168. Mark McGwire, 164. Fred Lynn, the MVP, 162. Albert Pujols, 159. I think you get the point. Nick Kurtz is possibly having the greatest offensive rookie season of all time, which is kind of wild to think about.
Now, some of that, I would, if someone wanted to say there's some park effect there, I'm sure we could look that up. I would agree, but it's still impressive as hell. And you just have to watch the guy play a little bit, and you can see.
And, we follow the draft pretty closely, and there was a lot of talk early last year about him being the best player and then number 1 in the draft, and then he was hurt a little bit, and it's like, Wake Forest is really hitter-friendly, and, he doesn't hit velocity, and then he goes to the A's. Some people thought he was going to fall out of the top 10, including me, and he goes to the A's, and, 1 year later, he's tearing up the big leagues. So, always fun to see. Something like that. It's a shame when it hurts you. Now I'm looking at his splits. Let's see his home and road splits. And we've got first at home. No. All right. So his home numbers, he's hitting 306, 402, 663. That's a 1065 OPS. Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
His away numbers, 312, 400, 607. That's a 1007 OPS.
We'd still take that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Still pretty good. Yeah. But anyway, so enough about the A's. Except we already kind of touched on their second game. That was the one Charlie Morton started. Didn't start out right. Couple hits right off the bat. Then looked like he might wiggle out of it, and then boom, 3-run homer by Jacob Wilson. And you're like, Tigers are in a hole again. They come back. The gritty Tigers. Yeah. They come all the way back. Riley Green with a monster grand slam, the longest home run of his career, the longest home run of a Tigers hitter in the Statcast era. 470 feet. It's still going. That was fun. Tigers immediately give the lead back up.
That was really deflating.
Yeah, but then they come back again. Colt Keith, home run. Gritty Tigers. They do it again. And then, Troy Melton, I mentioned him earlier. He comes in and he looks awesome. And this is we continue to have this kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, we understand why Troy Melton is not starting games for them. But it sure looks like he's one of like the 3 or 4 best pitchers on the team right now.
It sure does.
Like starting, relieving, it doesn't really matter. So, I mean, I don't mind having a weapon like that to go multiple innings out of the bullpen. But when you getting these starts where the starters are getting blown up in the first 2-3 innings, you feel kind of silly.
Well, and if nothing else, maybe they make him the opener. For some of these guys, and could do that twice a week. He could probably handle that. And we just spent, all that time talking about how wonderful Kurtz is. Melton came out and dusted him on 3 pitches. That was pretty impressive.
Got him with a fastball up. Like that's we talked about. You talked about his the fastball just looks to have a little bit of life to it. It's one of the best things about Troy Melton is he can miss bats with his fastball. That's a great sign for a pitcher. So just keep him healthy. Hopefully people listen to his interview with Jason Benetti and Dan Dickerson. Very entertaining. Troy Melton is a very cool, laid back guy who seems I don't know. I think he's got got everything in the right spots. So just need to keep him healthy. But yeah, and then we mentioned the Tigers come back. First of all, Torkelson and Green strike out against former Tigers farmhand Elvis Alvarado, one-time member of the Tigers minor league report top 25 prospects, who we think he was nursing an injury and just wouldn't go on the IL or something back when he came back. And he was down in West Michigan for much of the year, and the Tigers just kind of let him go. And it's not just them. He bounced around to like 3 other teams before the A's picked him up, as the A's do. Sure. And now he's closing for them, throwing triple digits. It wasn't the cleanest, but yeah, so Tork and Green can't get it done. But when Zach McKinstry comes through, even though he doesn't apparently hit on the road, I don't know if you saw those numbers going around.
Yeah.
But sure enough, immediately give up the lead, and Will Vest, getting his steps in.
Well, and it's interesting. They were really making a deal of how Alvarado was sweating and he was looking tired, and the McKinstry at bat was toward the end of the appearance, so he might have been losing just a little bit of steam there early on in the appearance when he dusted Green and got Torkelson, he looked impressive. I mean, there was some life to that stuff, and obviously he the command control is a little iffy, but boy, the that stuff was moving.
Yeah, I mean that was what we saw. We saw him pitch key innings for the Seawolves 3 years ago, down the stretch when they first made the championship and didn't win it. They got destroyed by Somerset, but he was pitching. He was basically their closer then, and looked really good. So that's why we put it on the list. And then things just, relievers are funky.
Yeah,
And that's where we could talk about like Drew Summers has not looked great, right? He's given up runs. He hasn't looked great, but relievers are very strange. He could go out and throw 40 consecutive scoreless innings. I don't know. It's probably unlikely. They've given him a look here. I assume that he's going to get a look in this Kansas City series to face Pasquantino and the other lefties in their lineup. I guess they have Yastrzemski now, right?
yes.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be this is the final series before you can expand the rosters up to 28. So we were just discussing about who they might call up. I don't know if you have any suggestions, ideas, thoughts.
Well, it sounds like as we looked up, it's got to be one of each, right? A pitcher and a hitter. It can't be two pitchers.
Yeah.
I would imagine Sawyer Gibson Long makes the most sense. The last when he came up and had the one outing for 2 innings, he looked good behind Melton. The way the pitching staff is kind of creaky right now. I think they need all the help they can get, and I know Montero hasn't been killing it at AAA, but last year that wasn't a big deal. Guys who were struggling down there came up and got the job done in September. That might have to be the way they go again, is giving Montero a shot. I'm sure they were hoping Summers was going to be this year's Sean Gunther, but so far not so much.
Far, yeah, not so great so far. I mean, I tend to agree. I was telling you that something kind of interesting in Toledo tonight. They had Jose Urquidy start the game, 2.2 innings. He gave up 3 earned runs, didn't look particularly good. But then they had Kiter Montero, come in for just 1 inning. He pitched 1 inning, which could be an indication that they are getting him prepped for maybe that role.
Yeah.
And he was followed up by Sawyer Gibson Long, who pitched 3 scoreless innings. So maybe they're prepping him for that role. Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of options. We may continue to see them cycle through these arms through the rest of September.
And to me, I don't care if they're right-handed or left-handed. Can they get outs? That's really all that matters right now.
And to that point, though, I do think that they want somebody who can get outs from hitters on both sides of the plate. Mm-hmm. That's obviously, it's fun to have somebody who can come in and just, completely shut down lefties. I think that's what they were hoping they would get from Summers. But if you can get outs, if you can get lefties out and righties out, and that's why I think they really, really, really want to and need to get Canely back on track. And his last outing was a good start. Mitch
better.
Mitch said, is it 0% from Kevin McGonigal? I believe it is. And Jeff Greenberg said he came out and said he wasn't part of the plans. I do think he could come up and hit big league pitching at an adequate level right now. The main issue is that he's not ready to be a shortstop at the big league level. I think he just made his 9th error yesterday in Double-A. It's not just errors; a lot of sort of just mental mistakes. And I don't even mean like mental mistakes. He just he doesn't have the experience of playing shortstop that much. So you'll see him take an extra beat on a throw when he should have prejudged the runner and known he has to get rid of it quickly. And the guy's safe at first. And I think he could play third base theoretically, but he has not done that in the minors this year. He did it in the Futures game. And otherwise, he could come up and probably be an average second baseman right now, but the Tigers have, where do you put Torres? Where do you put Keith? Where do you put Ibanez? Where do you put McKinstry? They just don't have room for a second baseman.
You only got one DH spot. So
yeah. And with the way they like to do things, so I just don't think it makes sense for either them or for McGonigal. I think it makes sense for him to continue to get as many reps as possible at shortstop. I'm going to be writing an Arizona Fall League, projection piece about who might get called up or sent out to Arizona. I'm pretty sure McGonigal will, and he'll probably play all over the infield. I mean, not first base, but they'll probably have him play second, third, and short out there just to get some more reps. And then I think he has a chance to make the team out of spring training next year. It wouldn't shock me if he's playing every third day or whatever and has some of the best stats on the team.
Yeah.
And as far as offensively, Parker Meadows is back now. He tripled in his first at bat yesterday off a lefty. Got another single later off a lefty. Today, not so much. 0 for 3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts, but he would seem to make sense as a guy to get called up. They may call somebody else up beforehand, depending on who they're playing. Maybe they bring up Malloy because there's a lefty-heavy pitching staff. I don't know. Who do they have after KC? Is it the Mets?
Sounds right. Let's see
The
here.
Mets, of course, are having fun with some of their young pitchers coming up. Nolan McLean has taken the world by storm.
Then you got the Tong kid too, Jonah Tong.
Jonah Tong has some of the best stuff and one of the funkiest arm angles you'll see. Tigers did get to see him. Josue Briseño hit a 7 billion mile an hour line out off Jonah Tong in the Futures game.
Yeah, they're home with the Mets and the White Sox next week.
So those should be fun series. I mean, the Mets are a fun team, but yeah. First things first. Got to take care of the business with Kansas City again.
You know, people won't like this, but really, if they can just win one of those three,
No,
that really keeps Kansas City at bay.
Mhm.
You know, and don't get frisky in the division. And the division should be locked up, but you just don't know. I mean, the Tigers have shown themselves capable of some funky stretches of baseball, and Kansas City's gotten hot a couple of times.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right because the Tigers are 8.5 games ahead of the Royals right now with what 27 to play.
Magic number is 19.
So, yeah, you go in there. If you sweep the Royals, it's all over. Right?
Oh,
There's no hope. If the Royals sweep the Tigers, they're still 5.5 back. It's still a long road, but that certainly would make people, the collars feel a little tight. You look at the pitching matchups, and you hope that doesn't happen. Now, game one, it's Chris Paddock versus Seth Lugo, I believe.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a great matchup. The Tigers have done a pretty good job against Lugo the last few times they faced him, I think. Which ordinarily, a guy like him seemed to be, kryptonite for them.
Yes.
He's got 8 different pitches and can spin it and puts the ball. But they've really done a good job of, was it Dingler? Was that his 15 pitch at bat? Was that against Lugo?
Yes.
I think it was.
He struck out.
Yeah, on a pitch that was 3 inches outside. That was, and he had almost hit a home run on the pitch right before that. It was.
Yeah.
There's a certain age of Tigers fans, and I don't actually remember this, but I've read about it, heard about it. Is Dave Bergman's? I think it was a 13 pitch walk off home run in 1984.
It was a beauty.
That people. It's one of those moments. That could have been one of those moments. Instead, it was like,
Yeah. I was actually watching that on Canadian television.
the Bergman one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm. Yeah, that was a very memorable moment, boy. Because, I don't know if you ever know much about Bergman in terms of ever watching any video. He had kind of a mechanical, funky, lungy swing,
I remember him. Well, yeah,
but kind of
it's
threw
odd.
his hands at that 13th pitch and he just knocked it out.
You can go back and look at the swings from the guys in the 80s, and they don't look anything like the swings now. Like Alan Trammell and Gibby, they're all kind of like hunched over and taking these weird swipes at the ball. It's odd. Now we remember like Cecil Fielder's big waggle and like leg kick and swing, and of course Mickey Tettleton and stuff like that. But yeah, some of those 80s swings, you're like, what are you guys doing? Obviously they were doing very well, but it's a little bit different than what you see now.
Well, and there were guys throwing heaters at 84 back then too. So I mean,
Yeah, you're really piping it in there. Can't even get a speeding ticket. But yeah. So anyway, what were we talking about there?
Well, the Royals and Lugo.
Oh yeah, the Dingler,
pitching matchups.
Lugo. Second matchup is it's
Flaherty
against to be determined, but I'm assuming that's Noah Cameron. I think he pitched like if it would be his day to pitch.
Yep.
What kind of Flaherty are we going to get? Are you going to get the shutdown Flaherty? Are you going to get the meltdown Flaherty? It's
Or the Flaherty that's a little bit of both, right? He has like 4 great innings, and all of a sudden he allows 5 in the 5th.
Yeah. It's just hard to know, and so hopefully that he can pull things through. And then you got Skubal and Waka on the final day of the series.
Waka's been tough on the Tigers.
He has, and he's got that that nasty changeup and that kind of neutralizes some of their best hitters. You just hope that somebody can get to him, but. Yeah, I agree with you. You take one series or one game in this series. Obviously, you want more than that. You want 2, but 1 keeps the lead at 7.5. And again, 7.5 with 24 games to play at that point. is it's probably not going to happen. So,
Right. Well,
yeah,
people won't like this what I say here either. If the Tigers just go 12-15 from here,
yeah,
okay, 12-15, which they ought to be able to do.
hmm
KC would have to go 21-7 to tie them.
yeah.
That's tough.
That's yeah, that math. It always sounds like, oh well, that's not going to happen. But then when you lose 3 in a row, you go, oh boy.
Yeah.
Like, what if they never win again? But no, I agree. Like I have kind of this is the last series where I'm even concerned about the division at all. I've kind of moved on from that and mostly been keeping an eye on the Blue Jays and the Brewers, who happen to be playing each other this weekend. And that, if you're just a baseball fan and curious and want to watch some fun baseball, that'll probably be a great series.
Yes.
And I don't know. I guess you pull for the Brewers because I don't think the Tigers. The Tigers make the playoffs. I don't think you want to be playing 4 road games up at the Rogers Center. It's a tough.
Not if
place
you
to
can
play.
avoid it. That's for sure. Oof.
So go Brewers. Keep it our Midwest, United States Midwest brethren, our Great Lakes friends. I guess Toronto's in the Great Lakes too, but the Canadians.
Yeah. They don't count.
So yeah.
Brewers Tigers World Series would be pretty amazing.
It would be awesome for us and Milwaukee people and nobody else.
Right. Screw them.
It would be like, oh, the worst ratings of World Series history. But yeah, so yeah, Mitch asked a good question, and he said, "Who would you guys start in Game 2 of a playoff game?" I've thought about that a bunch.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. What do you think?
Well, as I mentioned to you earlier, I think we might end up seeing some version of pitching chaos again. I could see that in Game 2. But if you're just going to make me pick one of the starters, I think I'd go with Flaherty, just because that he is capable of coming out. He could give you 6 innings of 1-run baseball, and nobody be that surprised by it. But again, you just carry that risk that he's going to blow up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at something. What's interesting is like in my head, it's between Flaherty and Charlie Morton. I just don't trust Casey Mize as much as that's a bummer.
Yep.
It even when Casey Mize is at his best, there's not really. I mean, like 1 out of every 15 games, his splitter looks like a plus pitch. But his main issue has been that he just never has ever had the command that he was supposed to. And he's got, he throws hard. He's got a couple breaking balls that work. He just can't consistently put the ball where he wants to. And so when you have kind of average to above average stuff and average to above average command, you're going to have average to above average results sometimes and sometimes below average. So,
yeah, do they even give him a playoff start? I mean, that's almost in playoff. His ERA the last 2 months is like 6.5 or something, and it's bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking. I wanted to look to see. I mean, the thing with like you can look at like it depends on the matchup, right? But in essence, you've got Flaherty, who's all about spinning the ball, breaking balls, knuckle curves, sliders, and you got Charlie Morton, who's all about spinning the ball and knuckle balls. I think Charlie Morton has a pretty damn good changeup too, but neither of them have a great fastball. I think they both, could get it up to 95, 96, but it's you got to locate it. And so I don't know if the matchup really matters at all. I think it's probably going to come down to who has the best like last 2-3 starts.
It's interesting. I just wonder if it was a one-night thing. I go back to that Philadelphia game on Sunday night when Morton pitched, and he ended up giving up some runs, but he was getting some strikeouts at the top of the zone with his heater. And it was after he was throwing some really nice curves, and all of a sudden he'd pound the upper part of the zone with 96, and he was getting guys. But we really haven't seen that since. I just don't know if that was a one-off thing.
Yeah, I part of that is the Phillies seem to strike out a ton. They hit a ton of home runs, and they also strike out a lot. So maybe it was just the opponent. I remember last year, I think we talked about Casey Mize. I think he had one of his better swing and miss strikeout games ever, but also gave up like 5 home runs. But yeah, I feel like both of those guys are World Series winners. They both have playoff experience. I feel like Morton has done better in the playoffs, but I
I wouldn't
actually
doubt it.
haven't looked. I don't know. I honestly do. I think it's going to come down to who Hinch is more comfortable, who looks better in these last few starts.
Yeah. And that may end up being Troy Milton.
Yeah, that would be a fun surprise. And,
One
and,
trip
and
through the order anyway or something.
it would not shock me at all if they do break out that sort of opener pitching chaos thing in the playoffs. So Hinch can get, he loves to get whatever little tiny advantage he can. And if you can force the opposing manager to make some sort of decisions with their lineup early on, but for that to work, they really need some of their bullpen pieces to look better than they have.
Yeah, they need Holton to be Holton again, and they need Hannafy to get back to the guy he was last year. That kind of thing.
And unfortunately, Brant Herter, he hadn't been pitching well, and he's on the IL now with back stiffness, right, or something like that. So I mean, he was a guy that you could kind of count on and sort of a fun arm to neutralize lefties. But if he can't do that, then that hurts you a lot. And then who are the other lefties? Bailey Horn. Bailey Horn, do you trust him throwing pitches in the playoffs? He can't throw enough strikes. Alex Lang doesn't throw strikes. Dylan Smith is coming back, but he didn't get many swings and misses in the big leagues. He's barely pitched. Chase Lee had a nice run, but he's just been getting demolished in AAA. Yeah, I don't know. Their bullpen might be like 5 starters. It could be Kaider Montero and Sawyer Gibson-Long and Troy Milton and Casey Mize and Jose Urquidy.
Can Casey Mize convert on the fly and get you 5 outs in a playoff game? Maybe he can if a lot of righties coming up, And you're going to hate me when I say what I'm about to say, but I saw it the other night. Old Casey Mize not coming inside, nibbling on the outer half. Same stuff I used to rail about years ago before the Tommy John surgery. Earlier this year, he could come in and bust people inside, and that's when he was having some success. I don't understand how they go away from that. But again, they're back to, I've always said this, even when you're getting out, all of Casey Mize's at-bats for a hitter are very comfortable.
Yep.
You're never uncomfortable against Casey Mize. I don't think anybody ever is. He needs to establish that, and I hope someone's listening.
Well, I mean, was it in the All-Star game? He came in. Did he give up a home run immediately?
Yeah,
in the All-Star. I don't know. It's unfortunate. I don't know. Yeah, it's the playoffs. This is going to be a test for AJ Hinch, but I don't know. The Tigers do have a pretty good offense. They have a lot of guys who can do some damage when they're all going. That's a long lineup. I mean, Javi Baez has kind of come back down to earth again. McKinstry has been up and down, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who they get in the playoffs. Right now, it's the Red Sox or the Yankees, or they would have the first round bye, so it'd be the winner of one of those series.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to say, but yeah, they definitely have the offense where if you told me they came out for 4 or 5 games and averaged 6 or 7 runs a night, they could do it. I mean, they have the depth and the power. If Kerry Carpenter goes off, has one of those stretches where he goes off for 4 or 5 games, a lot of good stuff can happen.
Yeah, you just cross your fingers and hope that they could do it. Everything gets weird in the playoffs, right? You could stumble down the stretch and then you win 3 straight games and you look like a juggernaut. But first things first.
Mitchell Stachnik, the Boston has called up Peyton Tolley.
Yeah, they called him up earlier today. He's another big lefty with tons of extension.
They call him the Hog or the Pig or something.
He was from TCU. I don't know. I don't remember what his nickname was.
Something like that.
But
he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of happy right now.
Yeah, they called it. We've seen most of the big prospects have been called up now. Bubba Chandler finally got called up by Pittsburgh. Kind of curious what they were doing there, and he's come out of the bullpen, I think, of both of his outings.
We'll see if Miami calls up Robbie Snelling too. He's another one he's killing it in AAA.
Yeah, and that's an interesting. He had a great season a couple years ago. Not so great last year, and got traded, I think, at the deadline from San Diego, and then just figured it back out again. there's some organizations down there that really seem to produce pitchers at a really high clip. The Mets are doing that right now. The Marlins have done that. The Brewers are doing that. The Tigers aren't quite doing that right now, despite their reputation. But maybe next year. I did get to see, you know, during the draft, they took Cale Wiska out of that Oklahoma Enid or whatever, the junior
Yep.
college, and when it happened, absolutely nobody knew who he was. There was nothing on MLB Pipeline. There was nothing on Baseball America about him. They just no clue.
Yeah.
And he made his pro debut the other day, and it looked pretty darn good. He gave up some runs, but you see exactly what they liked in him. Like it's a big fastball with a lot of carry, a lot of spin, a couple other interesting pitches. So it's been fun to see some of these 2025 draft picks get sprinkled in.
How did they pronounce it? Was it Witwiska?
Yeah, I think it was Witwiska. I didn't. It's they're playing in St. Lucie, so it's the opposing announcers, and a lot of times they don't particularly care about.
Yeah.
They'll say whatever.
Who can blame them?
Yeah. So
I'm sure they're making about $80 a game. So I mean,
yeah. But yeah, I don't know what else we have to talk about these days.
Well, I mean, we talked about McGonigal. That was kind of on my mind. I just don't know. Do you think some of this the defensive miseries they've been having lately, is it focus? Is it just kind of luck that it's all kind of piled up on itself? Is it kind of just a team-wide funk that once it's kind of spreading amongst them?
Well, what do they have? They had 6 errors in this A series,
Mm-hmm.
maybe more than that.
Mental errors too, not even all physical errors.
I do think that part of that is playing in that minor league stadium. Like I said, I don't want to make a huge excuse about that, but you could see people like players complaining about kind of the dirt, and I'm sure the lighting isn't ideal there and stuff like that. But yeah, there was just a lot of it, and it might not even be like the conditions at the stadium. It's just suddenly playing a major league game in what feels like a spring training facility. It might just kind of put you in like a dream state. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, that play where the infield pop up, where Colt Keith just like, it didn't get it, and then Troy Melton, to his credit, was very alertly just picked it up and fired a strike to second, got a double play. It was kind of ridiculous play, but that was like, what is going on? Like these guys are just, and I think sometimes everybody just gets into like a little dreamlike state. It was not a great. The schedule didn't do them a lot of favors either, right? They had a game. They finished the series here and then flew all the way across country and then played the next day. Normally you'd like a day off. They had a day off in between Sacramento and Kansas City, which is, I'm sure they'll take a day off whenever, but I think ideally it would have been the other way around.
And they didn't even get a getaway day out of Oakland or Sacramento, probably because it's so hot. They played at night.
Yeah, they played at 7:30. So, I think weird trends in baseball happen. They forgot how to hit around the All-Star break. Sometimes they forget how to pitch, and I guess they just forgot how to field. Colt Keith isn't. You asked last week, I think, about Colt Keith, how he looks at third base, and suddenly he didn't look so great. And Zach McKinstry had a whole bunch of errors, and then he's not the world's best fielder, but he's generally pretty good. So the mental stuff, I don't know. Like, I know that there were a couple instances when Riley Green was trying to throw somebody out, and then one time when it looked like he could throw somebody out, and then he threw it to second instead of trying to throw the guy. It was like, well, and that's all very basic stuff. You see guys get benched in the minors for not throwing to second.
Yeah. Well, and Torkelson, again, having a good year and decent on defense this year, but when he's trying to scoop balls at first base, I'm getting a little tired of the big Olay swipe that he's doing. I don't understand why they don't coach that right out of him and keep the glove fairly still and keep your head on it. He does the big sweep and he jerks his head out of there, and he missed at least 3 in that series. And they were, one of them from McKinstry was really tough. I don't blame him on that one, but a couple of those other ones, a quality first baseman gets the play done, and that big Olay swipe, I just don't get it. They got to get him out of that habit.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why. Part of that
It
is
looks good when it works.
yeah, I'm sure it's kind of fun to do too. But
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't think that that's what they teach you to do. I I don't know. I mean, maybe it is a timing thing, and if you do that, you feel like you can time the bounce better. But yeah, you would think that you just kind of sit there and wait for the hop and kind of play it. But
Yeah, especially when he's not even looking at the ball.
yeah,
I mean, he just jerks the head out of there as the arm swipes. Oh my God, drives me insane.
well, that's speaking of that. Have you? I don't know if you caught. Is it Ian Seymour? I think the pitcher for the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
Former Virginia Tech Hokie, I believe. I don't know if you saw the pictures of him when he's a left-hander with a crazy head whack. When he delivers the pitch, he is looking completely sideways, like he's not looking at the plate. It's nuts. But he had a really good debut, so whatever works.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Rays have two guys named Seymour.
Yeah, Carson Seymour, right? From
Isn't it Bob Seymour,
is it Bob Seymour?
first
Kinda weird.
baseman?
Oh, that's right. They just brought him up. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Who's Carson Seymour? Where does he play?
Carson is a
Carson
Carson
Seymour?
Williams.
Carson Seymour is a pitcher for the Giants.
Oh, okay.
Six rounder out of Kansas State. I remember him. Yeah, he was in the. Who was that former third baseman who was with the Mets and the Giants? He got traded along with Thomas Zapucki and a couple other people
No,
for in like a Darren Ruff trade. Like the Mets traded for Darren Ruff and got absolutely nothing out of him. What's his name? J.D. Davis is the guy I'm thinking of.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Didn't he get like screwed over by the Giants in free agency or something one year?
he did. Yeah, they he won in arbitration and then they cut him, which made him lose. Like apparently that's something that's always been an option, but it just seemed really shady. But you see that all the time. I think the Pirates just cut. What's his name? The lefty. Like he was right before he hit some innings pitched milestones.
We cut him. Nice.
Andrew Haney, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's happened in the past. That goes all the way back to the Black Sox days, right? With Eddie Seacott.
And we are seeing some teams right now, like that. Cleveland has officially thrown in the towel, right? They released Carlos Santana. It'll be interesting to see who picks him up. Hey,
Oh my goodness!
and with a haircut, a fresh fade.
Wow, no hat,
Raj.
looking good.
Raj comes in right in time to close the show.
Raj, was there a Donnybrook at the softball field?
There was almost a Donnybrook at the softball field. Yes, there was. There was by the way, there was a fan. The Ray Connell's son plays in a league, and he says hello to everybody.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was interesting. Like it was a close play at the plate, made the catch, and it was third out. I got excited. I spiked the ball. I'm like, hell yeah! And the guy goes, "F you." I was like, "F you." I was like, F you back. And I may or not grab my genitalia area and let it be known. I don't, like, it is what it is.
Did the umpire get in the middle?
No, we did. We got warned for chirping too much. So
Umpires got to maintain control out there, man.
no, but later he later said like he was laughing because I swore in Spanish. So yeah.
That reminds me. Yoop, did you see the video going around of that poor ump in the Little League game who got hit in the junk 3 times?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, the first 2 times that you hear the dads telling the kids like, "Hey, walk away for a minute," and the third time he just goes down in a heap and he's out for the count.
Yeah.
He must not have had a cup.
How could you be an ump without a cup? Like I don't like wearing cups either, but
I just can't imagine it. But at that age group, it shouldn't hurt that bad.
no.
I mean, it doesn't. It's not fun, but
No.
So wait, was he not wearing? He wasn't wearing a cup at all.
I don't know.
That's all we can if you get hit 3 times,
I suppose.
you see catchers who get hit there and they need a minute, right? And even they have cups, and sometimes the ball bounces below, and you kind of get a taint shot or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this guy was, and to Youp's point, yeah, these are like 8 to 10-year-olds or maybe even younger.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it would hurt that much, but boy, yeah, it sure looked like it did. He was done for.
Yeah, I don't really like. It was one of those things where I played like one time I didn't wear a cup. Usually I was usually the catcher or I played the outfield, And the one time I was playing the infield, I didn't wear a cup, and I barely for whatever reason my coach decided it would be a good idea for me to play shortstop. So I was like, okay. And we had gravel the typical crappy gravel fields, and jumped up on the rock, got me right there, threw the guy out at second, and then I bent over and I was out. It hurt so bad because it was a screamer.
You
And
made the play though.
I made the play.
Like it.
The reason why I made the play is because the guy kind of slowed down, was like, ooh, and he was laughing. And this guy was a guy I grew up with, Dave Miller, and Dave was like, and I was like, pfft. And they still got him a second, but it was, yeah. So, but at Feisty, we won the playoffs, first round of the playoffs, and we are advancing next round next week at 6:30, and so we play the team that notoriously brought a ringer off the bench 3 years ago. If you guys remember that story, where they brought a ringer in off the street to win the game. So
That's bad.
That's bad. And
You
so
guys are on a mission now next week.
we're on a mission, as the Blues Brothers once saying, we're on a mission from God.
Mm-hmm. We didn't do our segments. I did an Inside the Numbers kind of about Nick Kurtz, but I will say they're just an ugly popped up in my timeline here. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. I know Mike would be if he were here, with Sam Horn. He's a quarterback who the Dodgers drafted in the 17th round, and they're allowing him to continue playing college football. They gave him a $500,000 bonus. His first snap of the year in college football, took the handoff and ran and got blasted in the knee and hobbled off the field. It looks like it didn't necessarily look like a torn, like it wasn't one of the ones where it was flapping in the wind, but it didn't look great. So this is why, if you're going to play baseball, don't play football.
Yeah.
So that's my
Agreed.
Sam Horn. Is it Missouri guy? Is that why?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why I thought Mike would be familiar with his work. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, as the chat would say, I mean, really the amount of glad to get out of Oakland, or excuse me, Sacramento, Sacktown, whatever, whatever town you want to name it, and I don't have to see the Kelly green anymore. Although I am wearing technically Kelly green as part of this uniform, but yeah.
Kyle Schwarber hit 4 home runs tonight.
Really?
Apparently, yes. That's the second 4 home run game this year.
He's got to be pushing 50, right?
Yeah, 49 now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Free agent next year.
Let's see. Yep. Off Cal Quantrill. Off Cox, and off Suero. Yeesh. Well, must be nice to
Would
hit
he
home
look good as the Tigers DH next year?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind that at all at this point.
You know, I've heard some people talk about him, being a Hall of Famer, and I don't think I can do that. He may get to 500 home runs, but he's like a career 230 hitter. I don't know.
If he has the Nelson Cruz longevity, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, just not to disparage him, right? But he is essentially a softball player. Like he's an incredible power hitter, and
Yes.
incredibly dangerous. Hits lefties, really good, but he's got 20 career WAR. You don't want to just boil it down to WAR because, like I said, he might get 500 home runs. But if all you do is hit home runs, like I don't know, I bet you Cecil Fielder's WAR is probably higher. Now I'll look it up. Oh no, 17.2 for Cecil.
Really?
319 home runs. Schwarber already has. Now he has 14 more home runs than Cecil Fielder. So, but that's the caliber of player I think we're talking about here.
At some point, if you compile enough, though, I mean, you're getting billed. And he also has the benefit of being popular.
Yeah.
People love Schwarber. So
Yeah, I think if Fielder played, I think Philly is one of those markets. It's such a sporting market. What happened? Oh,
Lucy
Lucy. Yeah, you can't close the door when I'm on the show. Lucy will fit.
Came in full
Yeah, Dave Kingman. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
should 500 home runs be a lock? Maybe.
Yes, I think Kevin. Yeah, I think 500 is a lock. I really think it is the goal. It should be the minimum at least.
Yeah, I mean, Kingman hit 442 with a 236 batting average, and 17.3 WAR. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's an impressive number, right? But shouldn't you have to do something else? I don't know. Like,
Besides
I
hit
guess,
500 home runs.
yeah. Well, I mean, like Ozzie Smith didn't do anything but play defense. But I guess he stole bases too when he was younger.
Yeah, well, yeah, Ozzie Smith. Yeah, I used to be. I'm still on that. Until Alan Trammell got in the Hall of Fame, I was really pissed at Ozzie Smith because of the flips and stuff like that, and just playing in St. Louis. I think the baseball market, where you play in the baseball market, does matter. It really does. Anybody that says it doesn't is a damn liar. Because if Lou Whitaker was a Yankee, he'd be in the Hall of Fame by now.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me
no,
if
for
I'm
sure.
wrong.
No, for sure.
Red
I
Sox
say-
too. Yeah. Either
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, Dodgers, any of the bigger teams. But yeah, like, so there are a handful of people who hit 500 plus home runs who aren't in the Hall of Fame, right? Barry Bonds, of course. Pujols isn't there yet. He will be.
Yeah.
A-Rod, Sammy
Wait,
Sosa.
I mean, if you put the
McGuire.
natural 500 home runs hitters, then maybe that's a little different.
Palmeiro. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, Manny Ramirez isn't in. David Ortiz got in immediately, but even though there's been all sorts of suspicion about him, and he did several things that don't make any sense, like having one of the best years of his career as a 40-year-old DH.
But he's beloved. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Gary Sheffield should be on the Hall of Fame. Absolutely, he hasn't been because he admittedly took some steroids with Barry Bonds, but he didn't do it very long. And that was one dude who never needed steroids either. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most feared hitters of all time. I think he's got more walks and strikeouts with that swing. Carlos Delgado, 473 home runs, not in the Hall of Fame.
So Kingman. So the thing about Kingman too is that helped. Like, I mean, he was a guy that played for the Mets and Cubs. So he played. So he had that kind of pedigree to him to a certain extent. But what I mean, you look at his career WAR. You just mentioned it too. Was 17.3? Is that what you said?
Kingman, yeah.
Yeah.
And-
He did majority of his damage though. It was like it was so weird. Like, so he would have like 29, 24, 18, 36, 37, 26. And then for like a period of like 4 or 5 years, didn't do anything. And suddenly just boom, boom, boom. And even his last season, he hit 35 home runs at the age of 37, but hit 210.
And during his prime too. One thing with him is he was in the National League and he couldn't DH. They couldn't hide him, and he was a notoriously horrible fielder.
Carlos Delgado, Kevin, that's a good call there. Carlos Delgado was very unappreciated.
Delgado, Nelson Cruz, as you mentioned. But here's a nice comparison for you. So Kyle Schwarber right now, career 231 hitter. He's got 333 home runs, 126 OPS plus, maybe 127 after tonight. Adam Dunn, career 237 hitter, 462 home runs, career OPS plus of 124. Adam Dunn, Hall of Famer?
Oof.
No.
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 Again,
Adam Dunn
couldn't
has
play
18,
defense.
18 career WAR.
Yeah.
That's I just whatever. If Schwarber gets in, I will. I don't really care, but I think it'll be dumb. In any event, we'll see. Maybe he has 10 more spectacular years, and he does it for the Tigers, and I want him in the Hall of Fame.
I know there's a very good Hall of Fame, and do talk about Blue Jays. We're just talking about Carlos Delgado. You want to put in there too, Tony Fernandez. Rest in peace, Tony Fernandez. Tony Fernandez was a damn good infielder. I mean, his career batting average is 288, but his career WAR is like 45. But he was if the Tigers didn't, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Duper. If the Tigers didn't break his arm in '87, the Jays could have had a chance to.
Oh,
Yeah.
no question about it.
What was it? He was sliding into second, right? And the
Yep.
Jays called shenanigans on there, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
Yeah.
That changed everything. They ended up having to play that rookie back at second base. Didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's a damn fine career. You look at his numbers.
Yeah.
It's kind of an old school player, right? Just completely average offensively in terms of like OPS plus was 101, but 288 hitter, 246 steals. I'm looking at the stats right now. That's a damn fine career.
Yeah, the poor kid that was Nelson Leonardo.
So?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, this is what it was. He was a rookie that got to play short in his place, and so that was Fernandez was a guy too that I would put in that kind of. I don't want to say Hall of Fame necessarily, but there's a very good Hall of Fame account on Twitter that's been putting people in left and right. It's been pretty good.
Is that the Gaetti account?
Yeah, I think that's a good account. I like that. I like how he celebrates it too. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we touched on a whole bunch of stuff, Raj. I don't know how much longer we want to go here. I guess one thing, next time we talk, the roster will have been expanded. Who do you think the Tigers are going to call up for their other two roster spots? It has to be one pitcher and one hitter.
Oh, Malloy and Montero. I know it sounds like a lame thing to say, but I think they're going to play it safe. They're not going to, as much as people want. I wrote an article about McGonigal if he was potentially got the call up. I did the kind of the pros and cons list of it all, and I laid it out as much as easy to digest as possible lately, because some of these articles I've been trying to just. Of course, Emily did a really good job of Isaac Pacheco breakdown, and Pat Caputo's just drooling all over. He's like, excellent, one of the best breakdowns ever.
The most underrated prospect, because Caputo had him in his top 10. That's why he's the most underrated.
Yeah, considering he never watches a damn game.
Well,
Call me out on it, dude. You're not going to because you don't care. So anyway,
Yeah, but that makes sense to me. I did mention earlier. I don't know if you saw in Toledo, they actually had Urquidy started 2 2/3. Seelinger finished, and then they brought Montero in for 1 inning, just 1 inning, and then they brought Gibson Long in for 3 innings. So that would indicate to me that maybe they're getting Kiter ready for a relief.
Yeah, he's been at first. Like somebody I brought that up the other day, and they're like, no, he's just because somebody else opened. I'm like, no, I think he's could be pitching on the bullpen.
Yeah, and Meadows has played, and I think he will be up, but I don't know if he'll be the one that you bring up immediately, right? Like, I think, Raj, you're right. I think depending on the matchups, I don't know who the Mets might be throwing at him. I don't even know.
They were supposed to start that rookie. I think that rookie's supposed to start. No. I'm sorry. He's starting Friday. The guy they brought up.
Tong or McLean?
Tong is supposed to. I think Tong's supposed to start.
Tong.
And then McLean might start. I mean, might line up. He might start on Monday.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's a match. I mean, what'll be interesting. The only thing I wanted to bring up before we got out of here is that this series against Kansas City, don't underestimate Kansas City. I mean, I know the Tigers took 2 out of 3, but it was a tough series at Comerica Park. Now you're going to there, and the Tigers notoriously haven't been really good. I mean, it seems like they're inconsistent on the road a little bit. Michael Brooks has a good question here. When Meadows is ready, who does he replace if he's not the additional call-up positional player?
Trey Sweeney.
Yeah.
They'll just send Sweeney down to Toledo, and Baez will play shortstop with McKinstry.
Yeah.
makes sense.
You're not going to say, what are the other options, right? You're not going to.
Jemai Jones.
Perez,
Yeah.
or Jones. You're not going to cut Jemai Jones.
No.
It's really the only option that I can think of.
Yeah, and and the thing is that when Winfield playing the way he has been and hitting the ball late, I will say the other thing I wanted to take away was Hinch actually swore. We played shitty, and it was, and that's that's saying something. He never swears, like publicly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I would hope that he probably, did a little bit more than that in the clubhouse, because that was ugly baseball. And that, the players know it. They don't need to be yelled at necessarily, but sometimes, just like, this is not acceptable. You put on the dad voice, and then there you go. But
I'm disappointed in you, son.
Yeah, I mentioned I thought there were 2 4-home run games this year. There were 3.
3 what?
3 4-home run games this season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Suarez, Kurtz, and now Schwarber.
Oh,
There you go.
I remember it was such a big deal when we were growing up. Was it? Who was the guy who had the 4-home run? Was it
Fernando Tatis?
Tatis, yeah, that's the one. Well, he had 2 grand slams in the same inning, right?
Yeah.
2 crazy, and then
Mark Whitten or hard hit Mark Whitten. Mark Whitten
is the one I remember. Yeah.
What did Tuffy Rhodes do on opening day? Was that just 3?
He hit 3 home runs for the Cubs on opening day, I think. Yeah, he pulled the Dimitri Young.
Oh yeah, that's Dimitri Young came up in a Juan Encarnacion. I did the Juan Encarnacion video. That was who the Tigers traded to Cincinnati for, was Dimitri Young. Fun fact. So, but anyway, Edward Valencia, by the way, I would almost consider to get him some call-ups, but right now, as it stands, This doesn't help their playoff push, by the way, losing to St. Paul tonight. But Valencia, the stat of the night, by the way, that Chris had, this would be my stat of the night, is the 17th home run of the year. I thought it was his 18th home run.
It might be.
Okay.
I may have mistakenly tweeted the wrong thing. I'm looking. Yep, it would have been. Yeah, it was his 18th. So
He's 2 away from 20, which is a rarity for Tiger catchers. But the stat that really stood out to me that you put it out there, he came into the season with 12 home runs in 260 career games. That was something that I wrote up a profile on Tigers Minor League Report. You can find it on the website. The power emergence has been fantastic, and that's something that the Tigers have definitely needed for a catcher. I don't know where his role is going to be next year. I really don't. But it does give him some reassurance because right now, I don't see Alfonso being back in this organization. Yeah, there's just some things going on there. So,
yeah, I mean, if you think that he can hit at all and can catch it all, then I think it makes sense to add him to the 40-man, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a catcher who's hitting like this, even if he's not catching a ton. And they don't mind keeping guys in AAA. We've seen that, or AA.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have that on the roster in case something goes wrong. So, yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing season for him. Really just, did not see this coming at all. One of the more shocking seasons. And it's kind of, it's vaguely reminiscent of, like, Kerry Carpenter, where it was like, is this real? And he just kept asking and asking, and he kept performing.
Hitting.
Like, I don't know if it's real. He's going to have to come to the big. Like, Kerry Carpenter never really made any prospect lists. He may have at the very end, but it was just like, I don't know. So, I mean, I look at Valencia, and he doesn't seem to struggle against any particular type of pitching. He's not facing big league arms every night, but
yeah.
I don't know.
You almost have to think they have to protect him. I mean, otherwise he's going to go the way of Liam Hicks. Not that they should have necessarily protected him, but look what happened.
Yeah, there's always teams need catching really bad. It's something that we don't really think about as well. Oh yeah, by the way, George Bell. Good. You know what? No, Kevin, I can't say George Bell was good concept because he screwed over Alan. He screwed over Alan Trammell for the '87 MVP. Trammell should have won the MVP.
Yes, he should have.
Well, that's
a Tiger fan of me, Kevin.
No, it's not George Bell's fault.
That's true. No, that's a good point.
He paid him off.
It's we talked about this before. It used to be you're the MVP if you have the most RBIs. You're the Cy Young if you have the best winning percentage.
Yeah.
Things have changed dramatically since then. I think. Well, I mean, you look at it like now. If you look at it, I think Wade Boggs might have had the best WAR in the American League that year. So it might have been him.
Interesting.
But I think Trammell probably would win it. Let's see. I'm looking. All right, let's look. The WAR. Yeah. Oh no. Clemens had 9.4 that year. Wade Boggs 8.3. Trammell 8.2. So yeah, Clemens could have won it, but he probably would have gone to Boggs.
What was George Bell, like 4.5?
Bell was 5.
Okay.
He, under Jack Morris at 5.1 and Tony Fernandez at 5.1.
Yeah, no, Kevin, you're right. I mean, he had 3 home runs. George Bell was a beast that year. I mean, he did. I can't deny it, but at the same time, like there was the Tiger fan. Okay, so my journalistic side says, okay, George Bell made a really good case to be MVP, no doubt. But the fan part of me is also like, well, Alan Trammell got screwed because he also hit like over 300 in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough looking at it. Just looking at it. All right, so George Bell hit 308 with 47 home runs and 134 RBIs. That's a spectacular year, no doubt about it. Trammell hit 343 with 28 homers, 21 steals, 205 hits. Pretty damn good year. Wade Boggs hit 363 with 24 homers and 105 walks.
105 walks. Good Lord. Yeah.
So, 200 hits and 105 walks. I wonder how many times people have had 200 hits and 100 walks in a season.
What was his on base? It had to be 490.
461. 461.
Jeez, oh, Pete. So no one. I wonder. I mean, his strikeout percentage, like, it had to be in the single digits.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, it was 1987 too, and I don't think people realized at the time that the baseball was made out of, whatever elastic
Paper.
that year. That was the rabbit ball year.
Yeah, that was a year where that started a trend where home runs started becoming on the way up from 86 on, I believe it was. Yeah, see, that's okay. See, Alan knows what I'm talking about. Alan said that Bell kind of disappeared down the stretch, and that Trammell is the opposite. Trammell turned it on and really carried the Tigers on his back the last 2 months of the season.
Yeah.
And that's where I think you can make the argument. It's a great argument to have. It's fantastic. And I know Blue Jay fan. That was when Blue Jays started becoming the Blue Jays. Like, we knew the dominant force that all that farm development they had in the as their expansion team in the 80s started becoming a thing, and they were becoming regular contenders after that. So growing up, I loved it. As much as I hated the Blue Jays, I also couldn't. I respected them because they did things.
Yeah.
You know, like it was when they won the World Series. I remember watching that game, Game 6 against the Phillies, and it was bittersweet because, I mean, you know, little did I know that it would be the last time I see the Tigers at that point were so far, or how far removed we were going to be for the Tigers for a long time. But anyway.
Yeah. So just to finish this, I was looking it up because I was like, wow, that's impressive. 100 walks and 200 hits in the same season has happened 25 times in baseball history.
Wow.
Lou Gehrig did it 7 times. Babe Ruth 3 times. Todd Helton twice. Stan Musial twice. Those are the only multiples besides Wade Boggs, who did it 4 times. Bernie Williams in 99, John Olerud in 93. Before that, Hank Greenberg in 37.
And then it hasn't happened since, huh?
Has not happened since 2003 when Ted Helton did it.
I thought Ichiro did. I thought for sure Ichiro did it.
Ichiro, he didn't walk enough. That's the hard thing. It's like to be a really good hitter and walk is like Juan Soto walks 100 times a year, but he doesn't get 200 hits.
Gwynn didn't do it either, huh?
No, I don't think Gwynn walked much either.
I don't think so.
No. It was hard. It was one of the, who was it? I think Greg Maddox said it was one of the hardest guys to get out.
Yeah, I mean, he was just such incredible bat to ball skills that he never struck out, but I don't think he walked much because he would just get hits.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
makes sense.
so thanks so much for watching. Like I said, sorry to chime in and end the show like that,
good.
but like I said, so tune in Monday for another episode of the Tiger Minor League Report. Brandon will be back. Brandon's computer is back on, so we'll be back there. Check out our great website content over at TigersMLReport.com. Also, next week we're gonna have a sponsor read, guys. So that's gonna I'll
Blue
talk
Chew?
about that. Yeah, not Blue Chew. It's gonna be a identity protection thing. So we'll have a show meeting after this about this.
Manscaping?
No, I wish.
Protect your groin?
Yeah.
Identity?
Some sort of identity protection thing or something like that. But
Nice.
so the Believe Network has picked up a sponsor for us. So thanks so much for that. But Emily did a really good job writing about Patrick Lee. You can find there on our website the Kevin McGonigal pros and cons list and much more. We're putting some scouting reports on Patreon. If you want to join our Patreon, we got some exclusive content there. We're doing some video stuff. We're doing right now. I'm doing a breakdown. I'm finishing up for Patreon. Walter says he misses those ads, those Blue Chew ads. So on our Patreon, I'm doing a article on Troy Watson, who's been having a really good year for Toledo. His number. So Patreon only paid folks, and doing a video as well about the 2025 season for the Whitecaps, as they are 50 games over 500. 50 games, one of the most dominant minor league seasons in history. So
they won tonight. So what are they now? Is it 50?
They're 50 again because they lost, yesterday.
50,
yeah. So, but
Can we get a THC drink to sponsor us?
Yeah,
that'd be sweet. You know what? You know what I wouldn't mind? I would want. You know what? I would love to have a sponsor for. Like, if anybody's out there who can make this happen, there's a couple. Sponsorships. A pizza one would be good. Like just something like that. Hungry Howie's or Green Lantern, and certainly right. So, thanks, Kevin.
Staples.
You guys have a good Labor Day weekend. Everybody stay safe out there. We'll see you Monday for Tiger Minor League Report. Stay classy, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Yep.
Oops.
Oh,
No, wrong one.
That's fine. Wake up.
Wake up.
If you're wondering, Tony Gwynn,
Yeah.
1987, 218 hits and 82 walks.
82 walks. Wow.